Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the free hour. It's your boy Tree Trevor Turner. We back with another quick video in our mindfulness series, our ABCs of mindfulness, the ABCs of Tree. And we're back with the letter C. And when we talk about mindfulness, let's get back to the theme of this series, mindfulness as a path to self-discovery and growth. And we're given practical strategies for integrating mindfulness into daily life and success. So we talked about the letter A. Letter A was awareness. We talked about how awareness can go to helping us to build mindfulness, become mindful. We talked about breathing as it comes to mindfulness. So when it comes to the word C, in a world of constant noise and stress, how can we cultivate a sense of calm and peace? So C is for calm. And what we're going to be learning in this video, we're going to be talking about the importance of calmness for mental clarity and well-being. We're going to talk about how mindfulness actually cultivates calm and how calm actually cultivates mindfulness. And we're going to talk about some practical strategies, of course, to integrate calmness into your daily life. Now, one of the reasons I want to talk about calmness is because obviously, when I don't breathe, when I don't take the time to put the gap, because we've talked about this a lot, we talk about putting the gap between the stimulus and the response, the gap between what happens and the decision, our choice, our reaction, our action, or whatever the case. If you are not calm, if you're not making decisions in the calmest manner that you can make them, you may not be like a lake with no ripples on it, just smooth waters. But if you're making decisions like in the midst of a hurricane level winds and the swell is going everywhere and you're just a boat just on like swelling waters going up and down and all that stuff, you're not going to be making your decisions. You're not going to be doing the things that you want to do in the best way possible, in the most efficient way possible, in the most productive way possible, in the most positive way possible. Calm is a state of mental and emotional peace. An individual is free from agitation or stress. And one of the things we talk about when we talk about calm, I want to get this through from the jump, because there have been times when I have seemed very calm on the outside, but on the inside I was not calm at all. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about somebody who is able to remain like with the appearance of level-headedness, with the appearance of calmness, somebody who is able to act on anger or act on impulse in a calm-like manner. We're talking about somebody who is actually mentally calm, emotionally calm, someone who is not only calm on the outside and calm in their facial expressions and calm in their body expressions, but calm up here and calm in here. So when we talk about why calm is crucial for well-being, we talk about the importance of cultivating calm for emotional regulation, decision-making, overall well-being. We've talked about the health benefits of good mindfulness. We've talked about the health benefits of awareness. We've talked about the health benefits of balance. We've talked about how decision-making gets effective when you act inside of your emotions. When you are fully in your emotions, when you're fully engrossed in what it is that you're feeling, you're not making the best decisions. You're not making the most sound decisions. You're making decisions based upon the fickle feelings that you have. And your feelings are going to change from one minute to the next. It's just a fact of life. And if you make a decision fully in that feeling, fully in your feelings, that decision is not going to reflect who you are as a person. It's not going to reflect where you want to go as a person. It's going to reflect how you felt in that moment. And that's why a lot of us make decisions that we regret, because we don't take the time to calm ourselves down. We don't take the time to even cultivate ourselves, a calm within ourselves. So that way we're making a lot of different decisions throughout our lives in a state of agitation, permanent depression, permanent anger, permanent hostility, permanent anxiety, because we're not taking the time to cultivate that calm in our life. Research shows practicing mindfulness to foster calm can actually reduce stress, anxiety, and symptoms of depression. So when we talk about the Center for Mindfulness at UMass, founded by John Kabat-Zinn, a pioneer in bringing mindfulness practices into mainstream healthcare, he did a study at UMass Medical School, which found that participants in an 8-week mindfulness program reported significant reductions in stress and anxiety. When we talk about mindfulness, when we talk about things like awareness, when we talk about things like breathing, when we start to practice these things on an everyday basis, when we start to make these things a habitual practice in our life, when we start to take the time to get away from latching on to every emotion that goes through our mind and just being present with who we are right now, getting away from trying to be resistant to what's going on right now. Because a lot of times our emotions are going to be related to our resistance to what is going on in the present moment. And obviously there are things that are going to be going on in the present moment that you don't like. There's going to be things like that all the time. If you can do something about it, do it. Don't latch on to the feeling of your situation. Do something about it. And if you cannot do something about it, let it go. And what you need to do is you need to be mindful of all of those situations, of all of those circumstances. Bring your awareness into play. Bring your breathing into play. And that helps to cultivate calm. So let's talk about how calm affects the brain. We've talked about this a lot. The prefrontal cortex, the amygdala, we've talked about awareness. We've talked about breathing. We've talked about putting that gap between your emotional stimulus and your emotional response. We've talked about putting those gaps in there between how we feel about something and the decision we make and the choice we make, being proactive instead of reactive. And what happens is when you do that, you've actually, just to recap, you actually change the wiring of your prefrontal cortex. You actually change the way that your amygdala handles and deals with and processes emotion. Calmness activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps to counteract the effects of things like a fight or flight response, which is triggered by stress. So we know what fight or flight is, right? Fight or flight is something that happens in us when we are put in stressful situations. Now, it is an evolutionary response to dangerous environments that would threaten our survival. The things that used to stress us out were like wild animals that could kill us. The things that used to stress us out was isolation from the community, because if you were isolated from the community, you could actually die. The things that would stress us out is not having food stored up and winter's coming. Those are things that would stress us out. Nowadays, the things that stress us out is like, I didn't get that promotion at work. You're not going to die. The things that stress us out, you weren't able to talk to that girl you wanted to talk to. You're not going to die. Your girl broke up with you. You're not going to die. Your guy broke up with you. You're not going to die. Those levels of stress that are related to situations which will no longer kill us, but because the world has become such a much safer place, we still have that evolutionary response within us that reacts to stress. And the things that stress us out will not kill us, but our body does not know how to tell the difference. So we drop into fight or flight. We get that same effect in our body. We get the same wear and tear on our body from having to live in those situations. And we talk about research to go to back it up. Dr. Herbert Benson, professor at Harvard Medical School, pioneer in mind-body medicine, known for his research on how relaxation techniques impact physical and mental health. Research by Herbert Benson from Harvard coined the term relaxation response, demonstrate mindfulness and calm can reduce the physiological effects of stress, such as lower heart rate and reduced blood pressure. One of the things we think about, especially when it comes to African-American people, African-American men, like we are killed a lot by things like heart disease. We are killed a lot by things like blood pressure. Cultivating a sense of calm, cultivating a sense of like calm the fuck down, take a deep breath, put that gap between what happens and how you feel about it and how you react to it and how you act on it. Whether you latch on to what happened to you, whether you feel like somebody wronged you at work and you latch onto it and you let it affect your whole day or your whole week or your whole month. And one of the things that I hear a lot, especially when I was locked up, and I would hear a lot from, my people. Well, how am I supposed to feel? I'm supposed to feel like that. Nothing has built-in meaning. You are allowed to feel however you want to feel about something. You are allowed to feel as mad as you want to feel, right? But you're also allowed to be calm about some shit. You're also allowed to not let things affect you in such a profound way that you're actually losing years off your life. You're allowed not to do that. You're allowed not to let it cloud your judgment. You're allowed not to latch on to everything that you feel like is an affront or an attack. You're allowed not to feel like things are an attack. You're allowed not to take things personally. You're allowed not to make assumptions. You're allowed to make it about that other person and not about you. You're allowed to take that step back. You're allowed to have a relaxation response instead of a fight or flight response. You are allowed to do that. And that's one of the things that I like to tell people. You are allowed to take the deep breath. You are allowed to put the gap between the thing that triggers you and stimulates you emotionally and how you respond, whether you latch onto it, whether you put up resistance for the present moment, or whether you say, you know what, that's what's going on, and I can either do something about it to change it, or I can't. And the thing about it is this, a lot of the things that we feel like we can do to change it is not actually changing it. It's just trying to lash out. It's just trying to avoid or escape. You're not changing anything. You're not changing the situation of anything. You're not changing the things that that person is saying about you. You're not changing the way that that person feels about you. You're not changing your girl wanting to leave you. You're not changing your man wanting to leave you. You're not changing somebody cheating on you by lashing out. You're not changing any of that. All you're doing is you're allowing that stress. You're allowing that anxiety. You're allowing those fight or flight responses to continue to run their course through your body instead of having the relaxation response. And then we talk about mental clarity. Achieving a state of calm improves focus, it improves creativity, and mental clarity. Stanford University. It's known for its leading research in psychology, neuroscience, and the impact of mindfulness on mental health. A study from Stanford University was found that practicing mindfulness for even a short time can significantly increase cognitive function and problem-solving ability by reducing mental distractions. When you are not in a state of calm, when you're in your feelings, that is a mental distraction. Even if the choice that you're making is related to how you feel about it, you are in a mode of distraction. You are not in a mode of focus. You are not in a mode where you can say, I am acting on the information that I have to the best of my ability, or I am acting on the best information available. No, you're acting on feelings. You're acting on feelings that are not going to even be present. The feelings are going to go away. The feelings are going to change. The feelings are going to escape you. The feelings are not going to be there with you to help you deal with the repercussions of your decisions. The feelings ain't going to do that life sentence with you. That anger that you had toward that person is not going to carry through 30 years of being in prison. It's not. That fight or flight mode that you have, if it's not self-defense, if your life is not actually in threat, but you are just acting on an emotional response, that feeling is not going to carry you through that 30 years. It's just not. Calm down. I know that's like a phrase that triggers so many people, but just calm down. Take a breath. Be aware of your feelings. Be aware of how you're reacting in the moment. Be aware of how you feel in the moment. Be aware of whether you've dropped into fight or flight. Be aware of those things and then breathe. Breathe. Be aware. Breathe. Take that time. Detach yourself from the feeling that is attached to those thoughts that run through your head whenever something happens. Detach yourself from it. Become an observer of your thoughts. That's really the core of mindfulness. When we go back to Eckhart Tolle, and we go back to the power of now, the thing that he talks about very first is becoming and realize, well, not becoming because you are this already, but realizing that you are the observer of your thoughts, being the observer of your thoughts, actively being the observer, instead of somebody who constantly acts on every single thought that comes through, that constantly latches onto every single thought that comes through, that constantly assigns a feeling or a meaning to every single thought that comes through. You can observe your thoughts. You can think about what it is. You can think about your thoughts. You can think about those things that come through because they are going to be attached to a feeling. They're going to be attached to something that happened, and it's going to come through, and you can either latch onto it or you cannot. Or you can just say, you know what, that's just the way it is, and just accept it. Or you can say, you know what, that's the way it is up here. What can I do to change it? And then it becomes something completely different. When you say, what is it that I can do to change this situation? Instead of just the knee-jerk reaction, the lash out, or the trying to get away, trying to escape, you actually put yourself in a frame of mind. You put yourself in a different frame of mind. You put yourself in a calmer frame of mind to where you're actually actively thinking and knowing and seeing it as the opportunity that most things are. So now let's talk about the practical strategies, and we'll end it with that. Talk about breathing techniques for calm. We did a whole video. Our last mindfulness video was on breathing. We talked about a couple different breathing exercises designed to create a sense of calm, such as diaphragmatic breathing, where you breathe from your stomach. You let your diaphragm expand your stomach first, and then you let your ribs come. You don't just breathe into your chest because that's like a whole half of your cavity that you're not filling up. You breathe in, you get that full breath. And when you do that also, you're concentrating on your breathing. You're getting out of here and into here. You're getting out of those things that are running through your head, and you're getting into there. We talk about things like 4-7-8 breathing. Breathe in for 4. Hold for 7. And breathe out for 8. It's all really just about slowing down. And I know that a lot of times we live in a world where everything is just fast. Everything is fast paced. Everything is instant. Gratification is instant. You see that girl you want to right now, is instant. You get that feedback on your pictures instantly. You get that praise. You get them compliments. You get that negative, whatever the feedback. You get it all instantly. Everything comes right now. You want everything to be fast. But the thing is that sometimes you need to take the pause, delay it. Simply breathing can delay it. Then you talk about progressive muscle relaxation. I can't even talk. Progressive muscle relaxation is when you are somebody who has been working on awareness for long enough that you're able to recognize when you start to do things like clench your fist, when your jaw is clenched up, when your eyes are getting tight, when your head starts to hurt, when your brow gets like this, when you're just tight everywhere. When you're just tight everywhere. And so what you can start to do is you can start to say, okay, look, I've allowed myself to get into my feelings, and I allowed my feelings to influence me physically, and I'm dropping into fight or flight. So let me go ahead and just relax my hands, kind of just, it'll almost feel like you're stretching your fingers because like that tightness will still be there, and it's like you're pulling your fingers away from it. And you might even be able to just like, at the first time you might be able to just get them like that, but then as you keep trying it, you'll get them to where you can go to your normal whatever, kind of like go with the motion. Relax your upper body, relax your lower body. Okay, my jaw clenched. Stop squinting my eyes. Stop doing this with my forehead. Just say, okay. And that can help release physical tension and actually promote the mental calm. Because what had happened is the reason they call it feelings is because it's something that affects you physically. You can actually feel when you're going through something emotionally. And then let's talk about mindful walking. Mindful walking is a way to cultivate calm and movement. Just walk slowly and deliberately, focusing on your steps, focusing on your breath. You can even do this with other activities. Like you can mindfully wash the dishes. You can mindfully clean the house. You can mindfully do whatever. And just focus fully on what you're doing. Get out of your thoughts, get out of your head, get out of your emotions, get out of your feelings. And of course, also exercise. Go to the gym. Get to the gym. All right? So how do we integrate it into our daily life? Morning ritual. So when we talk about morning ritual, one of the things that I do every single morning, I do the savers. I do them from Hal Elrod's The Miracle Morning. I do my silence first. I do my meditation first so I can start the day that I want to start it. I don't let what I was dreaming about affect me. If I was thinking negatively when I went to sleep, which normally I'm not, but just in case I was, I don't let that be how I start my day. I start my day with joy. I start my day with gratitude. I start my day with calm. And then also I go to sleep early enough and I wake up early enough that I don't have to be rushed. So I'm able to start my day with calm. Do 5 minutes, 10 minutes in the morning, breathing, meditation upon waking. Then also find moments of calm during your transitions. Now, one of the things we talked about in the productivity video when we talked about our calendars is we talked about the importance of scheduling a little bit of a gap between each task, unless it's a batch. If you're batching and it's like you're doing your your back to back to back stuff, staying in that flow state. But as soon as you switch from batch to batch, as soon as you switch from batch to batch, you find calm and find moments of calm during those transitions, even between meetings, between different work tasks, or even while commuting. Use short breaks for deep breathing, mindfulness check-ins, and to maintain a sense of calm during your busy day. And one of the things I like to do is I love reflection. So it's like when something's going on and I'll say, okay, like, do I feel some, and if I notice that I'm feeling some type of way, I say, why do I feel this way about that? Why do I feel this way about what it was that we're talking about? Why do I feel this way about how this person was looking at me? Why do I feel the way that I feel? And if I don't have something that's immediately pressing and immediately going on, then I just take the time to just do some deep breathing to help me maintain calm. And then, of course, winding down at night. Wind down your mind before sleep. You can do something like journaling to get all this shit from your day out. You can do another meditation, or you can do some breathing exercises. I would say end the day with some breathing. You don't have to do like a full meditation, even though you can. One of the things I do is I just turn off the TV. My phone is on charge, plugged in. I don't got it in front of me. And I'm just breathing. And I do my visualization for me. I do my visualization of where it is that I'm trying to go, when I'm trying to be there by, and how I'm trying to get there. I do my goals, my different stages of goals, my short term, my midterm, my long term. And I see that person who I'm trying to become. I see myself in possession of what I want to be in possession of, and I'm grateful for it. I see myself performing the activities that I know I want to perform, and I'm grateful for it. And I see myself doing all those things, and I see that type of person, and that helps me to maintain and develop calm. And then also, during the time that I'm sleeping, my subconscious mind, it hands me over plans. So I might have a flash of inspiration during the next day. I might have a hunch to do something the next day. But that's because I allowed myself to calm down and get in the right frame of mind before going to sleep. So let's talk about overcoming challenges to maintain the calm. And that's really where it's all gonna come from. Now, obviously, if you're a calm person, you're just a calm person no matter what's going on. If you're the type of person who says stuff like, you know what, I tried to change my life, but they just keep testing me. They just keep taking advantage of me. You haven't actually changed your mindset. You're just still the same person trying to play a different character. Because no one can take advantage of your kindness. No one can take advantage of what you give freely. You just gave too much of yourself. That's all you did. No one took advantage. Stop blaming other people and get to it. But see, the thing about it is this. There are going to be times when you have external things that you might have to do that might not relate to certain people. It might be things like deadlines. It might be things like responsibilities, or it might be unexpected events. You have to remember that it's your responsibility to stay calm. You have to remember that those things are not there to attack you. You have to remember that those things are not there to disrupt you. You have to remember that those things are not there for anything other than an opportunity, unless it's something like a traumatizing event, unless it's something like a death in the family, and that's different. We're talking about regular, everyday life stuff. Grounding techniques, focusing on your breath, engaging in a brief meditation, recenter during your stressful moments. Do your muscle relaxation. And then also how do you manage your internal distractions? To calm the monkey mind, which is your racing thoughts. To get out of your reptilian mind, which is your instinct, which is your feelings, during doing meditation. The way that I would do it, I would just say, when you're doing your meditations and you're doing your breathing, when you're first starting to do these things, you're going to have a lot of distractions. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to clear my mind. And it's going to feel like the last thing your mind wants to do is get cleared. It's all of a sudden you're thinking about every single thought that you could possibly think about. You're thinking about how high is the Eiffel Tower in feet exactly. But it's like, damn, I can't Google it because I'm doing my meditation, I'm doing my breathing. It's going to be stuff like that. I would say just acknowledge those distractions without judgment and just gently bring your focus back to the breath. Because the moment you do more than acknowledge, the moment you judge, the moment you latch on and you try to say like, damn, why can't I just focus? Damn, why can't I just get these thoughts out of my head? Damn, why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? You start giving more validity to those thoughts. You start pulling away from what it is that you're trying to do, which is focus on your breath. Just say, okay, that was a thought. It's gone. Don't judge it. Don't say it's stupid. Don't say that's a good thought. Don't say it's profound. Don't say any of that stuff. Just say that's a thought. And it's gone. Unless it's like a brilliant idea, and then write it down and then go back to breathing. But if it's something like random, and I think we all know the difference, acknowledge it and move on. Back to the breath. Back to the present moment. And that has been Calm. We've talked about the importance of calm and mindfulness, the science behind calmness, and its impact on the brain, some practical strategies for cultivating calm, and also how to integrate it into daily life. We've talked about how to avoid internal distractions. We've also talked about how to deal with external distractions. And one of the most important things we talked about is how to escape and get out of that fight or flight mode, which is something we all need to get out of. And I'm going to encourage you guys to start implementing one of the calming exercises and share your experiences in the comments. Calm mind brings inner strength and self-confidence. So that's very important for good health. That was a Dalai Lama. Like I said, that's been mindfulness. That's been C. That's been calm. I would just ask, if you are somebody who is able to maintain calm, if you're even somebody who's able to maintain calm to the point where people say, damn, how do you do that? How do you just do everything so calmly? How do you just not react to stuff? How are you able to stay so even-keeled? Kind of share how you got to that. If it's natural, just say it's natural. Just say the things that you think about when people are walking up to you. Share those things with us. Maybe it can help somebody else. All right. Once again, it's been Tree Trevor Turner. It's been the ABCs of mindfulness, the ABCs of Tree on the free hour. Thank you very much for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment. Deuces.